Welcome to Season 3 of The Voice Behind the Mask. This is Episode 8, When the Watchers Fall Asleep. Who watches the Watchers when they're drunk on power and blind to consequence? This is not a riddle. It is the oldest question of governance. The Watchers, those entrusted with secrets, surveillance, intelligence, are meant to protect, to stand vigilant against foreign plots, against hidden threats, against dangers ordinary citizens cannot see. But what happens when the Guardians themselves become intoxicated with the tools of control? When secrecy ceases to be a shield and instead becomes a sword? The past is littered with answers. The 20th century alone gave us revelations enough to chill the spine. Domestic spying programs, secret assassinations, coups orchestrated in the shadows, experiments on citizens without their knowledge or consent. Each was justified with the same refrain: national security. Each excused as necessary for the preservation of order, and each only uncovered years later when fragments of truth slipped past the veil of classification. The Church Committee of the 1970s tore back that curtain, if only for a moment. The public was confronted with evidence that the intelligence community had not simply observed threats but created them, that secrecy had not served democracy but subverted it, that the Watchers, left unchecked, had become both judge and executioner. And yet here we stand, decades later, as if those lessons never mattered. Surveillance is broader. The machinery of intelligence is more opaque. The Watchers, armed now with algorithms, satellites, biometric scanners, and limitless data, operate with far more reach than those who came before them. And the citizen, lulled by convenience and distracted by noise, scarcely notices the quiet expansion of the watchtower. Drunk on power, blind to consequence, it is the oldest cycle of empire. The overseers believe themselves indispensable. They cloak their actions in necessity, their failures in secrecy, their excesses in patriotism. But power unobserved always bends toward abuse. It is not a matter of if but when. And when the Watchers fall asleep, when arrogance dulls vigilance, when corruption corrodes intent, when bureaucracy replaces purpose, the world they claim to guard is left exposed. Blind watchmen cannot see threats. Compromised watchmen cannot be trusted with the truth. And the greatest danger of all is not what they fail to prevent, but what they manufacture in the shadows. Consider this. When secrecy is absolute, accountability vanishes. When accountability vanishes, abuse flourishes. When abuse flourishes, freedom dies quietly, not in a blaze of conquest, but in a slow suffocation beneath classified lies. The question then returns: who watches the Watchers? For when oversight is performative, when investigations are staged to pacify rather than expose, when the committees meant to restrain become complacent, then the answer is no one. And that void is the birthplace of tyranny. Do not think this is theoretical. Every government with intelligence services has faced this temptation. Some collapse into outright police states. Others dress their overreach in democratic language, insisting their secrecy is for your protection. But secrecy, unbalanced by transparency, is always a mask. And masks, as you well know, are not always worn by heroes. So what then? What is the responsibility of the citizen in an age where the Watchers no longer guard but govern? It is to demand light in the dark places. It is to remember that freedom without oversight is a fraud. It is to insist that those who hold the keys to secrecy are themselves answerable to the people, not untouchable above them. Because Watchers who cannot be watched will one day fall asleep. And when they do, their slumber will not bring peace. It will invite abuse, corruption, and collapse. Who then will remain awake? Will it be you? Masks fade, but the echo of a free voice endures.